People are stubborn with this topic, aren't they? I don't understand the whole "it's fictional, why does it matter" ideology when it comes to topics such as insert taboo topics here. It really doesn't matter what taboo topics you're talking about there. This guy included young anime girls, young furry characters, forbidden familial relationships, human-animal relationships. They are fictional characters. Just because they happen and they're illegal in the real world doesn't mean we can't explore them in fiction. If anything, exploring them in fiction is the best place to do so. The same way killing people in video games is the only way to kill people without suffering any life-changing consequences. They're immoral and unjustifiable. So is murder, and we do that on fiction all the time. If you genuinely are into such stuff, I strongly and firmly believe that you should most definitely seek therapy of some sort. Yeah, the problem is the therapists are the ones recommending dark fiction, and they still do, even to this day. Considering most of the time, those kinks or fetishes stem from deeply rooted trauma such as manipulation, grooming, etc. No, I enjoy taboo topics not because I have trauma. I do have traumas, most people do, but that has nothing to do with what form our fetishes and what we like sexually. Even psychologists are still rather wishy-washy on how or why we form things that turn us on sexually. I don't know how I was able to get turned on by Claire Redfield as a kid, but I got turned on by her anyway. If anything, you're seeing this whole thing backwards. You see it as a negative that people who suffer through trauma explore that trauma in fiction and turn them into their own kinks. In reality, it's actually a positive thing that they are able to turn that into fiction and cognitively externalize themselves to see the whole issue. It's comforting, it's cathartic, it's erotic to some people, clearly, but it's definitely not bad. There are factual cases of fictional media having real-world ramifications. One search on an internet browser will tell you so. I genuinely don't know what cases of fictional media having real-world ramifications that you got. You go search one and give me an example, and I'll tell you that it's a load of garbage. Oh wait, never mind. Someone here does the job for you. Fiction is dangerous and it affects reality because of these stupid examples. Here's a thread of murders or true crime cases in which the criminals were inspired by a work of fiction. Spoiler alert, none of these cases have the criminals be inspired by a work of fiction. They are already nuts to begin with. The first case is about this guy who imitated Freddy Krueger. He's a drug addict with paranoid schizophrenia. Most people are not that, and certainly not most Nightmare on Elm Street fans. By citing this case, you're advocating for a Nightmare on Elm Street to be censored, which is ridiculous. The second case is the Slender Man stabbing. The kid who did that is nuts. She spent 7 years in a mental health institute. Last time I heard, she's apparently on the run. Most people who love Slender Man are not on the run and spent 7 years in a mental institute. Next, the third case is this guy who mimicked a scene from Saw 6 as he tried to stab a homeless man to sever his spinal cord. Jigsaw doesn't stab people in the movie, if I recall correctly. He's too busy fighting against healthcare corruption. No, I'm not kidding. There is someone who stabbed a lot in Saw 6. It's Huffman, and I don't think anyone's mimicking him. To connect this lunatic to Saw 6 is a huge stretch. The fourth, but mistyped as 3, is a 32-year-old ex-con who said that he did exactly what he saw in the movie, and the movie is RoboCop 2. You do realize that he's an ex-con, right? I don't think that most people who watch RoboCop will turn into cons anytime soon. Again, you indirectly advocated for the censorship of those movies that have been seen by millions of people who turned out fine. With an absolutely banger game too. Seriously, Rogue City is awesome. Go play that. The more you blame these movies, the more you look like an easily influenced idiot. This anti-fiction lunatic cited 4 times where people have committed crimes because of fiction, except in all those 4 times, all the perpetrators are already crazy to begin with. But the terrible arguments do not stop there. You cannot read this and deny the impact that fiction has had on the real world. Yes, I can deny it, because most people are not paranoid, schizophrenic, drug-addicted ex-convicts. Writing fanfiction shipping a canonical lesbian with a man is, in fact, lesbophobia. No, it's not. We're talking about fictional characters here, not real people. Seeing a lot of Tracer 18+ content featuring her with guys, despite her being a lesbian herself, doesn't make me or the viewers of her hate lesbians. Hold on, apparently the fanfiction is about a non-consensual corrective fic. Take an LGBT character, force her to have an intercourse with the opposite sex, and she's straight now. That is messed up. That is homophobic. That does happen in real life, but we're not talking about real life. They're all still within the context of fiction. It may give someone the idea that it is okay for them to go out and commit such a heinous act simply because they read it in a fic somewhere or saw talk of it online. First off, reading a fic is different to seeing someone talk about it online. One is fiction, one is reality. Second, if you read dark fiction and think that it's okay to commit crimes in real life because of that, either you're already crazy to begin with, or you are easily influenced by fiction. Either way, most people are not like you. Those promoting and even encouraging corrective and forceful intercourse fic with despairing simply to piss someone off are sick individuals. That, or they just troll you because you are so easily triggered by fiction. They don't actually mean them, they just hate you specifically, so they write something that will know for a fact piss you off. When people argue about having rights, sometimes it's not actually about having them, it's about how you use them. We have the right to judge the morality of someone who reads dark fiction to get aroused, not to study abuse, trauma, etc. I too have the right to say that you're a judgmental idiot, but that's missing the point. The point is, why are you using your right to judge to something that really shouldn't be judged? It's dark fiction. Evil Dead is dark fiction, and it's freaking awesome. The second one especially, and Army of Darkness, they're all awesome. I don't even mean that someone will commit crimes after reading this type of story, but why does someone enjoy it? Because it's cathartic. It's fiction. We're exploring dark topics in a safe and healthy environment. You're using your right to judge the wrong people. They can like whatever fictional content they like, no matter how dark or disturbing they are. Them liking dark fiction has nothing to do with their real-life behaviors, and the sooner you disassociate the two, the better. Here's another argument from an anti-fiction. Fiction does affect reality. Look up the word desensitization. Except you're missing a very significant context, which is that desensitization is only true towards the fictional content, not towards the real thing. I see gore in action and horror movies and games all the time. I will feel squeamish if I see actual gore in real life. I welcome you to research this and confirm it yourself. Search up, why is exposing children to adult content is a bad idea? No one is doing that, or at least no one should be doing that. Come back with an essay of how sexual content can affect someone. Well, psychology has pretty much covered the effect of sexual content towards people in general. There are positive effects, negative effects, but in the end, it's not the sexual content that affects the consumer. It's how the consumer reacts to it. You are a person. This is just fiction. You control what you do, not fiction. Come back with an essay about how incest can cause toxic relationships in the family. Toxic is an understatement, but here's the thing. I don't need to research how incest destroys family. You, on the other hand, need to come back with an essay about how fictional incest doesn't lead to real incest. That's not something that happens. If you think it does, then the problem is on you. What is it with these moral guardians thinking fiction affects reality again? Fiction still does affect you. What you consume in general does affect you. They do, but not in a way you think it does. You can start with Aristotle's Poetics and learn what catharsis means. It's good to make sure you can actually make out what you're reading so that you don't let it influence you the wrong way. Are you talking to me or are you talking to yourself? To all the people quote tweeting this and pointing out how allegedly stupid it would be to let fictional works affect them in the first place, welcome to propagandist politics! Except fiction is not propaganda. What did you say again? It's good to make sure that you can actually make out what you're reading. You can't even tell the difference between fiction and propaganda. Fictional works and this supposed reality you keep on separating it from aren't as distinct from each other as you think. Okay, you are delusional. You should be put into the nearest asylum because you have officially lost your mind. Fiction aren't as distinct from reality. Unbelievable!
You're not living in reality. You're totally detached from reality.
This anti-fiction person cited an article that talks about how fiction isn't fact. Yes, fiction is not fact. This paragraph is about how fiction is grounded in some form of reality and well-recognized truths so that the audiences can relate to them. But that doesn't mean fiction is real. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish depicts panic and trauma so authentically that people genuinely feel that Puss was panicking and in actual danger of dying. That doesn't mean there's an actual talking Spaniard cat getting traumatized by a Grim Reaper wolf. Fiction is still consumed information. No, it's not. It's entertainment. It's not information. Just because fiction tells some form of truth or factual information doesn't mean the whole content is real or should be treated as real. Truth in television is a real concept. That doesn't mean television as a whole is real. You have to keep in mind how susceptible you are to malleability, regardless of how nonsensical the world you're reading comes off across. Are you talking to me or are you talking to yourself? Because this paragraph sounds like something you must keep in mind, not me. Whether you like it or not, data is what we use to process the world. Wow. Not only you don't understand the nuances of reality within fiction, you also don't understand the difference between data and information. Hierarchy of knowledge. Look it up. Just because fiction has some data of truth doesn't mean it's the actual truth. The people still quote tweeting thinking I want to ban taboo representation of concepts in fiction are completely missing the point. You literally said fiction and reality aren't as distinct from each other. You are delusional. Here's an interesting conversation between a pro and an anti-fiction. The anti-fiction asks, do you think people that love young anime characters are not predators that will target children? The pro answered, I think there are. It's not black and white. I agree. The anti-fiction answered, I just don't know how to feel about that. A good majority of people may disagree with you on that statement. Actually, a good majority of people really do not care about this topic at all. This is a topic that only a small niche of people on the internet are generally passionate about. Most people will only know the surface level knowledge of the issue, and sometimes it shows, based on how they talk about it. If the level of intelligence that I'm seeing on this discourse is similar to the Dunning-Kruger effect, I guarantee that most people on the internet, and especially offline, haven't even seen The Hill. They have no idea about any of these terms that we constantly bicker and discuss about because they got way better stuff to do than any of us here. If you participate in this discourse, you got way more free time than most people do. And since I have the privilege to interact with actual normal breathing human lives outside of the internet, I can assure you that most of them do not care about any of us here. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.